What's going on, everyone? So today I'm going to be doing a review on Red Rising, the new game by Stonemaier and Alexander Schmidt, published by Stonemaier Games. I want to thank Stonemaier Games for supplying me with this review copy. This game is based off the popular book by Pierce Brown. It is a hand management game for 1 to 6 players and plays under an hour. I'm going to give my review on it, but first I'm going to show you how to play. At the start of the game, a player is going to randomly select a house faction and take a hand of 5 cards. If you select the Ceres house, then you will select a hand of 6 cards. On a player's turn, they have 2 options. The first option is to lead. When you lead, you're going to take a card from your hand and deploy it to one of the 4 locations. So I'm going to deploy this card here. This card says that when you deploy, you may gain a gold from this location and put it into your hand. So I'm going to take the gold from this location, put it into my hand, and then the next action you would do is take a card from one of the 4 locations. When you take a card from one of these 4 locations, you're going to take the power from that location as well. So the first one is Jupiter. When you take from Jupiter, you're going to move your ship once on the fleet track. If you take from Mars, you're going to take 1 helium. If you take from Luna, you're going to take this sovereign token, which is right here, and then take the power of your faction from taking the sovereign token. The last one is the Institute. When you take from the Institute, you're going to take one of your cubes and place it here. If you don't like any of the 4 cards on any of the locations, then you may take from the top of the deck and then roll the dice that will determine which power you will get. The second option is Scout. When you scout, you take a card from the top of the deck and place it at any location, getting the power of that location. The game is going to end when all 3 of these conditions are met by any player or any 2 conditions are met by the same player. Either a player has 7 helium, a player has placed 7 influence on the Institute, or a player reaches 7 on the fleet track. For endgame scoring, you're going to add all the points on the cards for each card that's in your hand. You're also going to add the endgame scoring that's on some of the cards. For example, this card says that it will give you 26 points if it is with a blue card. And then you have this card over here, which is the Martyr. This gives you an endgame score that if you have the Sovereign token, gain 1 card of your choice from Mars. You will also gain victory points for where your ship is on the fleet track. Also, 3 victory points for each helium that you have, 10 victory points for having the Sovereign token at the end of the game, and the player with the most influence at the Institute will gain 4 victory points for every cube that they have there. The player with the most points wins. Okay, so now there's a lot of stuff I got to say about this game. I'm going to tell you what I like and what I dislike, and then I'm going to give a numerical score, and then of course what I think of it overall. So what I like is, number 1, the game is very well balanced. Every card is different, there's no 2 of the same cards. Another thing I like is every turn feels important. You know, you could be doing an action that you don't realize is benefiting another player, or it could hurt another player. You could even be benefiting yourself or hurting yourself. I really like that aspect of the game. You know, it adds to the replayability of it. The card art, I really like the card art a lot, but I've never read the book, so I don't know if it ties in well with the theme of the book. But from my perspective, I did like the card art a lot. It looks a little nicer in the collector's edition, but I'll talk about that later. I actually suggest you buy the standard edition and not the collector's edition. Also, the game is very easy to learn and teach. The rulebook's only a few pages. It's very simple. Place a card, take a card. That's it. I also like that there's several card combos, and maybe want to come back and play it again. This is the type of game I like to play a second time because you want to see how many combos you can get, what can be beneficial for you. Now for my dislikes, the first thing I'm going to say is that I didn't feel that there was a theme. I never read the book, so I don't know how the cards really tie in with the theme of the story, so if there is a theme in this game, it's not that strong. The second thing I didn't like is that the collector's edition, I think it's not worth the $60. You're better off getting the standard edition, and the reason I say this is because the metal cubes, the colors are really hard to distinguish. You know, we had a hard time seeing which one was blue, which one was green. The red and the purple look kind of similar. I thought they did a really bad job with the paint on those things. Save your money. If you're going to buy this game, buy the $30 standard edition. Don't spend $60 on this. The third thing I didn't like is the game's not that groundbreaking. I mean, it's a simple card game. It is fun, but it really didn't wow us. The next thing we didn't like is at high player counts, the game could drag a bit. I feel that the ideal player count is 3 and 4. I'm not saying we didn't have a good time at 5 or 6 players. It just doing the same thing over and over again. The game just started feeling really repetitive. Finally, the last thing I really disliked was that the endgame scoring could be really cumbersome. I hated going through all the cards, counting up all the victory points, looking at all the end game scoring, all the bonus scores. It was just a pain in the ass. I mean, it doesn't take away from the fun we had playing the game, but it's just something you just don't look forward to at the end of the game. Also, the board was kind of bland. You know, does it really need a board? Not really, but I feel like it was just tacked on. Okay, so I did like the game. I thought it was fun. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I think that there's a great game that can come out of this, but it does definitely need an expansion. I want to see more cards. I want to see more locations. I want to see something that will, you know, expand on the strategy of this game. Me personally, we did have a good, fun time playing it. So if this game interests you, go check it out. Guys, like, subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think. Have a good one.